David.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have some emotions about that system. But basically, it rewards you for scoring points early in the tournament because you then assume that the earlier you scored your points, the more difficult opponents you got later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so used to the chess.com tiebreaks these days, but I agree. I have kind of traumatic memories of junior tiebreaks where I was always the victim, it felt like, of starting slowly and only getting the wins later. But it did feel fair. I never really saw anything objectively wrong with it. There's also pairing systems where colors are kind of neglected over scores and ratings in Titled Tuesday. It's always favoring the kind of higher rated player to upfloat. Several upfloats in a row sometimes. I saw some posts about that too. In the meantime, we see a clash between Caruana and Duda, two of the leaders.
Two biggest names, I would say.
Yeah, because Duda, he's not even leading.
Oh, he's not even leading.
Oh, what? Never mind.
Oh, so there's 6 players. This is board 3. There's 6 players on 8.5 points.
Yeah.
But he's had an upfloat, and Kravtsev is the one to drop down to play Jeffrey Zhang.
Wow, and it's also because a lot of the players in the top, they've met each other already. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit of a jumble to find someone that could play against Fabiano, who's played so many of these other guys. He's played against Sam, he's played against Caruana, he's played against Kravtsev. Caruana must have pretty good tiebreaks, but we can actually see online that it's Kravtsev who has the best tiebreaks of all of them, but only by a couple of points. So everything that happens in this round will mean something.
Yeah, you could even get unlucky and a couple of your former opponents drop out.
Yes.
And you don't get those points. In the meantime, we've seen a bit of an odd NIMZO-INDIAN. I know someone in the studio who's written a course on the NIMZO-INDIAN. So what do you make of this, Jan Ludwig?
Looks very, very good for Fabi. He's sacrificing his knight there to ruin Black's pawn structure. The Black king is going to struggle to find a safe haven for a prolonged period of time, even though all of White's pawns are on the dark squares and he has a dark squared bishop. Usually strategically very, very unfavorable for Fabi, but here it's more to do with the safety of Black's king rather than the strategic disadvantage of the bishop.
Exactly, and the Black Knight is just really bad. If he could pick it up and somehow put it on, this d6 square, for example, controlling everything, then Black is simply doing very well. Maybe he's going to run at some point towards this flank, but it looks really slow. And there we go, he does. But Fabiano, the bar goes even further in his favor. He's going to activate his bishop.
Yeah, so all Fabi needed was one pawn over to a light square, and he immediately creates a very, very good placement for his dark squared bishop. So he's not suffering that much with the bishop's inability to participate, essentially.
And it's also interesting that Duda, he can kind of use, maybe perhaps to his advantage, that Caruana, he needs to win if he wants to win the tournament. Maybe he'll overextend his position a little bit. So right now it seems like Duda, he's trying to consolidate, keep his pieces close to himself and hope that Fabi takes some big risks, perhaps. It can be an advantage when you know your opponent is like obsessed with winning the tournament right now.
Yeah, Duda has played this face very, very well.
Ooh,
He's doing a great job.
And he's gotten his knight developed.
Yeah. Getting his king to safety and getting his knight involved. Yeah, he's down a pawn, but he's down a pawn in a fashion where the white king is very unsafe. And somehow he managed to make the Black king safer than White's, which wasn't really obvious if we go back a couple of moves.
Exactly. And I was going to say it was instructive that neither side is caring about a pawn. Fabiano taking this one. But at least it does mean the white rook can get active a bit later. I don't know. I think this is just the position. It's hard to keep control with white suddenly. And momentum's turning.
I'm very surprised the evaluation is favoring Fabi this much, because I think in practical play, this is already kind of sketchy for him.
Ooh, that last move was very important, though. Pushing the pawn to keep the Black Knight offside. Keep it on the edge of the board. But definitely the white king feeling the heat. Fabiano trying to trade off. I guess if he exchanges everything, if it's just the queens and pawns, probably he has a big advantage since white has the furthest advanced of the pawns. So he's just happy to try and get the rooks off the board. If the Black Knight ever moves, he might even be tempted to take it. Okay, a very tense position. Best position Duda's had in a while. Does he take that knight off the board now?
Well, he has to, surely, right?
Before it starts jumping. Oh, yeah, I think practical terms as well. Oh, he's spending a bit of time.
Yeah, the thing is, if the knight is taken, queen takes back, and suddenly there's checks into the right corner.
Oh, that's true. It's a favorable exchange, or it's one that Fabiano probably wants to make, but maybe now is not the right moment.
Well, if you don't do it now, the knight is going to escape.
Yeah. Big moment. What does he play instead?
Fabi's actually down 1.5 minutes.
It's too slow.
Oh gosh, and he's shaking his head.
Ooh, he pushes a pawn. He's saying, please take me, but then the queen will be slightly offside and maybe some tactics based on taking the knight.
I think he's just giving up a pawn on the side to make the strategically favorable trade of bishop versus knight at a moment where the black queen cannot target the white king after.
Exactly. He might want to get a rook to the 7th rank as well and replace it with a very strong pawn.
Magnus has won his game, but that means he ends up at 8 out of 11. Probably not even good enough for a top 10 finish.
Oof. Yeah, good score for most mortals, but for Magnus, disappointment. He wasn't fully healthy. We heard some coughing earlier, so maybe that's why. But I think it just started in round 1, that trend. Blundering checkmate in 1, getting back to 8 out of 11 is a decent.
It's very rare. I feel like Magnus, often when he makes like a big mistake like that, he can get very angry at himself or frustrated. And we've seen it so many times, his reactions. And the fact that he just kind of laughed it off, I almost took that as like a bad omen. That it's like, he's kind of in a carefree mood today. And he never really fully recovered from that. And these top other guys, they've avoided playing against Magnus, which is why they have so many points as well.
Yeah, most of them haven't played Magnus. Most of them haven't played Hikaru. And that helps. Maybe not helps their tiebreak, but overall score. I think this pawn is just going to be captured next to stop the black knight coming in. Suddenly Duda's lost most of his advantage on the clock.
Yeah, why is he spending so much time thinking?
Okay, he takes with the queen. Now, at least he's saying that if queen takes pawn, the black rook can come in. Okay, Fabiano allows it anyway. Rook check can just be blocked by the white bishop. Oh, wow, he runs with his king. Even braver, even stronger. No time for black to do anything here. Queen check, white can just dodge. And the central pawn is hanging. He's winning now, Fabiano, according to the evaluation bar.
Wow.
I think he's actually found the most difficult moves. At some point, the white king might even start sprinting forward.
Yeah, and just pretend that that triple pawn is kind of a castled king rotated 90 degrees and pretend like it's safe there.
Oh, he's got the opportunity again. We were talking about this earlier.
Equal clocks. Crazy, considering how much extra time Duda had earlier in this game.
Okay, Fabiano closes things in, but okay, not a good move apparently. Maybe black has some counterplay now. Wait, whoops. What are you doing against this idea? Does the white king have to now start running forward? But there might be a check. Fabiano took his eye off the ball for one move. Oh, gosh.
But he can just keep running up, right?
He has to. I think he has to run. He takes the knight off the board first. There's been a draw between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Alexei Caruana, so they move on to 9 points. They can be leapfrogged. Martin Kravtsov is losing right now against Jeffrey Xiong. And Fabiano, he's
shaking his head. He's shaking his head.
Now the white king cannot move forward. There would have been a skewer on the queen and king. Now the cage is closed around his king. It's Zugzwang. Can he even move a piece?
He has to go one step back with the queen. No, but then the rook...
Then the rook can come and
just
grab
over.
the pawn. He's trapped himself in the clock as well. Fabiano lost control. He was totally winning just a handful of moves ago.
No, and he would have won the entire Titled Tuesday.
Duda so consistent. Now this would be a crunching move. The queen sliding back instead. The clock is going to decide. Even if Fabi survives on position, now the rook can come behind and we're going to get a result any second. Check. We're going to see some mates now on the board, or just a queen endgame. Poor Fabiano. He played so well all tournament, but it's fallen apart in just a few moves. And Duda gets the win.
Wow.